Hi guys, so today we are going to show you how to make some tassels for your Arabian halters. So here are some examples of some tassels that I've already made. You can see them there. Oh, they're doing a bit wobbly. Yeah, so we've got a nice little sort of example there of what we're going to make. Very simple tassel. We're making a purple one, but you've got a nice black one and a pink one. You can make them in whatever colour you want. So you're going to need several things for this tutorial. The first and most important thing is of course your embroidery floss. We're using purple for this tutorial so it shows up nice and against our white background. You're going to need some sort of clamp or bulldog clip. A surgical clamp like this one is perfectly suitable. You are going to need some scissors. You always need scissors. Make sure they are nice and sharp. You're going to need some beads. I don't want to tilt them too much because they're open, ready for the tutorial. But there you go, some beads. You are going to need a needle. There you go. And you're going to need a template. So this is basically just a little bit of cardboard. Try and use one that's not too thick but is quite sturdy, like a plasticky sort of cardboard. And then we've just cut out a little hole here. So if you can see against my hand, it's just cut out. And you want it to be about the size of your tassel, just a little bit longer. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our embroidery thread and our template. So we've got our thread here. So we're going to get our template, and all we're going to do is we are going to just, I'm just going to hold this the other way around so you can see it's a bit easier. Hold it tightly with one hand, like that, and then we're going to wrap it around 3 times. 3. Then we're going to hold on nice and tight, snip it off the end, get our clamp, and just clamp it on there for us. There we go. We're just going to lay that down on top of that box. Right, so the next thing we will need to do is just cut a little bit of a length of embroidery thread. Yeah, this is what I meant about sharp scissors. And we want to take a single strand of embroidery thread. So one single strand. And we're just going to wrap it round to knot it onto here. So this is a bit fiddly, and you may want to use your needle for this if it's being a bit of a pain in the backside. So you can see we've got just like this, just wrapped round, and we're going to do that twice so it's nice and secure. I find having it rested on something makes it a little bit easier. This is why I prefer using a clamp to a bulldog clip, because you can sort of use it to just hold it so you can use both of your hands. There we go. Now we're going to tie it in a nice neat knot. Dum-de-dum. Not very coordinated today. Nice and tight. And then one more time. Doobie-doobie-doo. There we go. Beautiful. Now we can just snip off the ends there. If you want, at this point, you can add a little bit of glue just to keep that nice and secure. But that's entirely up to you. Right, do you remember that bit of embroidery thread we cut earlier? We're going to want another strand from that. Okay, and we're now going to thread that onto our needle. So I'm just going to do that now off camera because you don't really want to see me licking embroidery thread. There we go. Just thread it onto any form of standard needle. This is a tapestry needle, but it doesn't really matter what needle you use. Okay, now, holding it in one hand, you're just going to sew it through like this, and then you're just going to pull that up. There we go. Now comes for the really fiddly bit. So, we're going to add some beads on at this point. So, to bead it on, you could use a beading needle if you've got one. Sometimes that's a little bit easier, or I like to just do it by hand. So if you just wet down your floss a little bit so it's together, then you'll need some beads. We're just going to get a few pink ones there. Oh, one's run off. And all we're going to do is just thread them through. Nice and easy. You just want a little seed beads. Doesn't really matter what type of bead, as long as they're small enough. Sometimes, particularly if you're doing the throat lash, you might want to add a larger bead for sort of more decoration. It's entirely up to you what you do. I normally go with 4 beads. Personally, I always do tassels with 4 beads. That's entirely your choice. I think 4 looks nice. And you can of course use sort of different things if you don't want to use beads. Little sort of crimps, little sort of silver findings, anything you want. But you'll need at least one just to hold it in place. Try and always think about your colour coordination. So think about making everything even, think about the colour of halter you're creating. There we go. So we've added 4 adorable little pink beads. And our tassel is pretty much nearly complete. So we're just going to pull off this clamp, and then we're just going to carefully remove it from the template. We're going to put the template down there. The final thing we need to do is to trim it. So hold it nice and tight and get a sharp pair of scissors. It's really important so you get a nice even trim, and then just quickly down. And there you go. There you have it, your very own tassel. You can make as many of these tassels or as few of these tassels as you want to add to your halters. I have got an entire pot of tassels here ready to turn into Arab halters. And as you can see, they're all pretty much, if we take out the piece of ribbon, the same basic design. You'll get quite quick of this after a while, and before you know it, you'll have massive pots full of tassels ready to make your own Arab halters or even costumes. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, feel free to put them below, and make sure to subscribe to the Chestnut Ridge channel for more tips and tricks on what you can do with the products you've purchased from Chestnut Ridge. Bye bye!